Let's talk a little bit about alcohol, hangovers, and some disease that alcohol can cause. So, what's happening within our body to experience a hangover? Well, you're having alcohol withdrawal. Alcohol is metabolized in the liver by an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase or ADH to form acetaldehyde. This is a poison and a carcinogen. Also, that enzyme ADH, one of the reasons why women develop higher blood alcohol levels compared to men is because there is lower ADH activity in the female gastric mucosa. Acetaldehyde also dilates blood vessels in the brain, which increases the chance of a headache. Additionally, a chemical byproduct during the fermentation and distillation process is a chemical group called congeners. They're found largely in brandy, red wine, and rum. They are bad because the enzyme ADH metabolizes these at a slower rate, and in the case of methanol, it is metabolized to formaldehyde and then into formic acid. Both of these are extremely toxic to the body. Now within the cell, your mitochondria will then oxidize acetaldehyde into acetate. This causes mitochondrial DNA damage due to the free radicals released in that breakdown. This slight damage to the mitochondria leads to toxicity in brain regions. Acetate is then converted to acetyl-CoA, which goes to the citric acid cycle or into fatty acid synthesis. And so when you hear of fatty liver, it's because alcohol inhibits regulatory systems that promote oxidation of fatty acids, and instead activates systems that stimulate fatty acid synthesis. And with high alcohol metabolism, your liver is synthesizing lots of fat without burning it. Now, why do you pee so much when you've been drinking? It's because alcohol is a diuretic, meaning it inhibits vasopressin. Vasopressin tells your kidneys to reabsorb water rather than flush it out through the bladder if the body needs water. So when you inhibit vasopressin, the body's natural signal is switched off and the bladder is free to fill up with urine to be excreted. This will dehydrate you if you don't rehydrate, and this is one of the causes for a headache in hangovers. Now let's talk about what alcohol does to your brain. Two important neurotransmitters are glutamate and GABA. Glutamate turns on the brain while GABA turns it off. These two are usually balanced, but alcohol suppresses glutamate receptors, which inhibits it to release, and thus GABA is predominant, and this makes you feel more relaxed. Now when glutamate is suppressed, it affects your judgment, consciousness, and ability to lay down memories. Now why does this matter for the hangover? Well, because what alcohol did is it altered the balance of GABA and glutamate in favor of GABA. The brain then downregulates the genetic expression for GABA receptors and upregulates the expression of glutamate receptors. Now, opposite to when you feel drunk and GABA is expressed more and makes you feel relaxed, during a hangover, glutamate is expressed more, and that makes your brain express excitatory activity, which means feelings of anxiety and jitteriness. And that dreaded feeling when someone's making too much noise in the kitchen in the morning, or your parent opens up the curtains in your rooms on you and the light is painful, that's the glutamate rebound effect. You become much more sensitive to sensory inputs of light and sound, and that also contributes to headaches. Now without GABA's inhibitory effects, the central nervous system is using more glutamate than usual. This reduces the synthesis of glutathione, which is going to deplete the body's most important antioxidant and impairs phase 1 and 2 liver detox systems. So what you'll find is you'll be run down in your phase 1 cofactors, B2, B3, thiamine, B6, B12, pantothenic acid, glutathione, folate, and BCAAs. Now just to hammer home this bleak picture I'm painting of alcohol right now, it inflames your stomach lining. You'll develop different GIT issues, more diarrhea is likely. It can worsen insulin resistance because it inflames both your pancreas and your hypothalamus, which disrupts insulin receptor signaling. Again, it depletes a lot of nutrients, a lot of antioxidants, so your body will be less protected to damaging substances. As I mentioned, you get fatty liver disease, cirrhosis of the liver, because acetaldehyde is toxic to liver cells called hepatocytes. Damaged hepatocytes release damage-associated molecular patterns, or DAMPs. These recruit immune cells that perpetuate further liver injury. You can get Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which is caused by depleted thiamine, or B1, and a B1 deficiency causes damage to the brain's thalamus and hypothalamus. You can get cancer because I said acetaldehyde is a carcinogen. For the men, negative effects to your hypothalamus and pituitary gland by alcohol causes decreased release of testosterone and other male sex hormones. So you'll have decreased libido and sperm production is impaired. Lower testosterone is also a contributing factor to visceral fat, which is the fat around your organs in your belly, and this contributes to beer belly. Now, with all that said, what do we do to prevent a hangover and lessen the toxic burden of alcohol on your body? Pace yourself. It takes about an hour and a half for our bodies to process a standard drink, so drinking slowly is giving yourself a greater chance to process the alcohol. This will lessen your blood alcohol peak and reduce the likelihood of a hangover. Drink water or dilute your alcohol with mixers to make sure you don't dehydrate. Drinking alcohol with less congeners will be helpful. This is going to be clearer drinks, vodka, white wine, light rum. Having a feed as soon as you get up is essential. You'll wake up with low blood sugar, which makes you feel terrible, so you need plenty of carbs and foods that are nutrient dense. Including eggs is really good because they have a lot of the nutrients you need to replace. A B vitamin complex will help to restore some of those lost, and movement. Moving will speed up your metabolism and your hangover. But here's the thing about hangovers and why they're probably a good thing. They cause you to restrain yourself and decrease the likelihood that you'll drink again in the next few days while your body recovers. Around 23% of the whole population are hangover resistant, and these people are at much higher risk of developing alcoholism and alcohol-related diseases.